Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero Missile Defense. This is a classic review, and here is the wall. This may be my original wall. I actually do still have my original wall. I also bought another one complete because I had the wall, but I didn't have the rocket launcher or the missile launcher and the missiles. Actually, I still have a couple missiles because I have 5 missiles, and this thing came with 3 missiles. But we're going to take a look at this. It also came with this ammunition depot. I have 2 or 3 of these. One of them is my original. I don't know which one. But either way, we're going to take a look at this. I talked about this with the machine gun defense. I always loved this type of stuff. It was just a lot of fun. It was one of those things that it was easy to pack into a little sandwich bag and take it to Grandma and Grandpa's house or your cousin's house, your friend's house, and hopefully everything came back, but let's be honest, it didn't always come back. But anyway, we're going to take a look at him. We're going to try and work him in with our footloose and see how that actually works. But anyway, I think it's time. Let's take a look at this. Tell me if you had one of these, if it's something that you like. So, but before we do, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. All right, so here we go. This is the G.I. Joe Missile Defense. We're going to take a look at this, and this thing is really cool. This was one of my favorite pieces also as a kid. I think a lot of because of the wall. So anyway, we'll kind of look here again, back to the world building ammunition depot. It's pointing to where it's going. If you were like me and you had a lot of stuff, then you had a huge ammunition depot. Again, it stands really easily. You can use it for classified. It'd be a little low, but again, it's not like they can't read where it's saying that it needs to go. All right. As for our wall, which could either be put straight, and technically it will stay up here, or mostly fold it like that. You had the hole in there, so you could put your sniper through it. All right, you can see the detail in the brick, the way that it is broken right down there. You can kind of see where it's been taking some shots. At least that's how I always observed it, and even over on that side. On the inside, you're not really going to get any detail, which is perfectly fine because we were kids and, well, we didn't think too much about that. As for the rockets, it came with 3 rockets like this, and it came with this ammunition crate. So looking at the top of the crate, just has a couple of slits. You can see that it's built up around there. On the bottom, you can see exactly where it's supposed to be riveted in, okay? And it does stay on. On the inside, it holds 3 rockets. Now again, I have 2 rockets from my original, and then I recently bought this. So, pop this out. Looking at the rocket, has a little red sticker that goes around it. 4 little wings right there. And then you're just going to fire this thing off as it sits in the little rocket launcher. Now this rocket launcher just kind of plugged together. I'm not going to try and pull that apart, but I know it does not come together. This thing may be glued together, but I don't need to really ever pull this thing apart. All right, but these things just slide in just like that. There was a sticker that's supposed to show some of the mechanics of the firing mechanism. On the back here, you kind of just see how it's held together. All right, and you don't really need to worry. That thing just sits perfectly fine. Hell, it could probably be put on somewhat of an angle like that and not have any problems. I guess if you like this too much, it's going to fall. But the surface doesn't have to be 100% level. Now, as for playing with this thing, imagine there you are. It's kind of cool to have a few extra rockets. Again, all 3 rockets will fit in like so. Kind of have that right there. Have that 1 extra rocket just sitting there ready to fire, and we'll bring in our footloose and try and get him down onto 1 knee. Again, getting to 1 knee isn't the easiest, but with this guy here, because he's got that little strap right there, that sling, you kind of just use that, and now we can see that he's able to fire this thing off. I don't know what he's looking at. We'll turn the rocket to fire whichever way he's going. But again, missile defense, it's really only shooting up. You can't face it too many other ways. Maybe it's a heat seeker. Maybe it is a close combat. Somewhat like a mortar. I know they do have a mortar station Unfortunately, as of right now, I don't have that, but who knows what I might have when I come back from Joe Fest. I might just lose it and buy all kinds of stuff that I need. But until then, this is what you're going to get. So anyway, there you go. That is your G.I. Joe, a real American hero, missile defense. All right, so there you have it. That is your missile defense, your G.I. Joe, a real American hero, your classic review. Again, this is actually pretty cool. I love this stuff in classified, so I definitely loved it there. And you can hold all 3 missiles. As you can see, there are 3 missiles in there right now, along with the one that I have already locked in, loaded, ready to go. But anyway, let me know, did you have this? Is this something you always wanted? Maybe you didn't have it. Maybe this was that one thing you went over to Grandpa's house and your grandma just happened to see something there at the store and she bought it for you because she was like, I know he likes G.I. Joe. Maybe he's going to like this. But anyway, that's what I like to talk about. I like to hear some stories to take you out of being your daily grind of real life and go back in time. These things leave so many lasting imprints on us that the fact that the stories that I've heard, I love because we get to hear things and the fact that we can remember them is absolutely crazy. So anyway, let me hear what you have to say. But before you leave, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you up here with another review of the classics. Down here is going to be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.